I play Riley Stone in Black Christmas, and she's part of a foursome of friends. And we see her start out as a different person to where she ends up because of past experiences. But she was a lot of fun to play. There was a lot to kind of examine and delve into with the character. The girls sing a song, something which Riley has trepidation about being a part of initially. And the idea is it's like a talent show. And they get up and they're supposed to sing this kind of Christmas number, but instead they have a different message they wish to share. And unbeknownst to Riley, it's actually been recorded on an iPhone, as everything is these days. And yeah, that resurfaces and creates a lot of problems for her.
One of our sorority sisters is missing, and Riley is very concerned about it, and we're kind of all getting caught up in the Christmas festivities. Our characters all did a performance at the frat house to calling out kind of what they do there and what they get up to there. And Kris recorded it and put it online, and at the end of it, Riley names her attacker. So then, yeah, shit starts to hit the fan. The text messages the girls are receiving are very threatening, very grotesque, and like a stalker. But I think Kris kind of thinks it's just some frat boy kind of just threatening her and fooling around. And but Riley starts to take it seriously. And I think she notices things aren't right more than all of us. It's a reimagining of Black Christmas for this time, and for this generation.
Kris is the type of girl who is very not soft with her words, I guess. I was talking to one of the other actresses, and I was like, if people have some things that they're scared to express, those are the very things I think Kris is willing to say. So yeah, she's just sort of this girl that, you know, shoots, straight shooter, beelines most of her communication, and is really hot off the press with a lot of things. What's appealing is that you get to see these girls in a holistic sort of way. Their interests, their intellect, their politics, and yeah, their fight back is something that shouldn't be so surprising, I think. You know what I mean? Like, it should be obvious that women aren't sort of just taken out very easily and dragged away. It is a horror movie. It is heightened for a reason. And if you're down for the roller coaster ride, it'll definitely take you on one.
My character is Jessie, and she's a very bubbly, happy-go-lucky part of the sorority, and really enjoys her friendships with the girls and the other characters, and is really excited about Christmas and creating joyful times, which soon becomes really treacherous. The girls fight back ferociously. I mean, just from an actor standpoint, to watch these women that have been cast go through the fight choreography, to put the emotional stakes. I have heard and I know that they have done an incredible job. And it's a beautiful thing to put stakes to something that is symbolic as feminism in this movie, and I'm so excited to see that. Sophia is so great. Our director, Sophia Takal, is just, I've never worked with a director like her. She has a lot of trust in her actors. She knows what she wants. She has this sense of honesty and understanding in her writing and her own experience as an actress, and also as a director. It's been a very cool experience, and I've learned so much from her.
So at this talent show, which is thrown by a fraternity, a not so likable fraternity, the four main girls, the four main women get on stage and they perform a song in these these sexy Santa Claus outfits. But the rub is that the song calls out rape culture in this house where that's sort of like an issue. And so they're sort of like, screaming in the monster's face. And Landon watches it and is really excited by it because he thinks it's probably, knowing these guys and, having to work for them, he probably thinks it was deserved and that they needed to hear something like that. I think to have had a male director would have just been, it would have been pointless. There are things when telling a woman's story that a man's not gonna get, or he's not gonna understand, he's not gonna be able to empathize with. And with Sophia, I think not only does she have that naturally because she is a woman, and so she has insight on things that she doesn't have to think about. I think on top of that, she also has a clear idea and a clear vision of what she wants this film to be, what she wants people to take from this film. And it's clear on set when she's directing and trying to get the story made. And I think that's really, really important.
One of the main reasons I was attracted to this project was because of the social comment it makes on the Me Too movement. And this film, even though we use entertainment as a way to educate, deals mainly with the theme of male power over women. And this is an issue that's still going on today. What I loved about this film was that Sophia decided to tackle this issue head on and use a horror film to explore this theme in a brilliant way. I don't think this story could have been directed by a man. There's no question about that.
The orphans' dinner, it's kind of just that festive dinner for everyone who is still in the houses, for them to kind of come and have somewhere to eat. During this dinner, we start seeing a little bit more strange behavior in regards to Nate. And then basically what will happen is Nate sort of starts going crazy, he loses it a little bit. That's when we start seeing his aggressive side. No one really knows what's up. And then obviously we've had also a disappearance of one of the female characters. So things are a little bit on edge anyway. And then we have a little surprise killer come into the house and start getting at the girls. There's definitely a supernatural element to the killer. And as they get rid of one, they realize that there is more than one, which is what's probably most disorientating, is because they never know where he's coming from. But he's definitely attacking women in the sorority house.
Black Christmas is about a group of sorority women who, over winter break, realize that there's a killer on the loose and they have to work together to figure out who it is and fight for their survival. I'm a big fan of the original. I think for the time it was made, it was way ahead of its time in terms of dealing with issues about women. And so I wanted to make a movie that felt similarly contemporary about women's issues today. And kind of that was the big thing for me about remaking this movie, was how do I make a movie that feels the way Black Christmas felt in 1974 in 2019. It was really important for me to make a movie that addressed important issues like sexism and campus sexual politics, but also was really fun to watch and was filled with thrills and chills and could entertain an audience as much as make them think. When all the women decide to perform at this talent show at this frat house, they put on a sort of satirical version of Up on the Housetop that calls out frat boy rape culture, and it shocks everyone and upsets the frat boys quite a lot. The women in this movie fight back together, and they find and derive strength through one another, which I think was a really important thing for me in making this movie in 2019, because I think right now women are deriving a lot of strength from one another in real life too. They refuse to be just slaughtered one by one and realize that they're stronger together. I think that differentiates it from a lot of slasher films in the past. Some of the things that I really wanted to translate into the film beyond just the themes of misogyny and the themes of, women being attacked for no reason, were the weapons that were used. In the original movie, there's like a plastic dry cleaning bag that's an iconic kill and a glass unicorn that's also an iconic kill. But what I wanted to do in this movie was turn that around and have the women wield those same weapons that in the original the bad guy used against them.
The movie is relevant for today because there were a lot of movies in the 70s and 80s which were very sexist, like very violent towards women. And this is kind of looking at one of those movies through the prism of, first of all, a woman, and second of all, post Me Too. And one of the reasons I think the movie is a lot of fun and exciting is because it's the original movie really turned on its head. Black Christmas is about a group of sorority sisters who are being terrorized by a competing fraternity. But as the movie goes on, it turns out that the fraternity is more than just a bunch of evil guys. There's a lot more nefarious things going on within that fraternity. And it takes some incredibly smart, strong women to outwit and outsmart them, and eventually they do. I think Black Christmas upends expectations because the normal sort of horror movie that takes place in college for a long time has been like a bad guy killing women who are kind of defenseless and not very good at defending themselves. And this flips that on its head because the guys are still bad, but the girls aren't defenseless anymore.
Hey, it's Lisa here with more on horror. Now, Robert Englund was not the first choice to play Freddy Krueger. Wes Craven reportedly planned to have a stuntman play Freddy Krueger, but wisely opted to go with an accomplished actor for the role instead. His first choice was David Warner. However, Warner had to pass on the project, which opened the door for the truly excellent Robert Englund. Now, click here below to subscribe and also tap the bell to receive our videos in your feed.